I'm Lizzie Harrison for Card Player TV, and I'm here today with Jens Voertmann. He won the $3,000 buy-in H.O.R.S.E event at the World Series of Poker. Congratulations, Jens.
Thank you very much.
So you're a professional poker player from Germany?
I do nothing else right now. Right?
You do nothing else right now. So you came out to this series, you're here for the whole summer?
I'm here for the whole summer, arrived on 1st of June, and going to stay until the end of the main event.
So do you play a lot of H.O.R.S.E?
It's my favorite game, actually. I also play it a lot on Full Tilt Online.
Okay.
So it's my favorite game. My first game I learned in poker was 7-card start high.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still my favorite game, and I love all the mixed games and all the high-low games pretty much. So H.O.R.S.E suits me pretty well.
So do you think 7-card stud is your best game out of the 5 games?
I think so, yeah.
And do you have a worst game? Do you have a game you try not to play as many hands?
I think that I'm a pretty good all-rounder and I'm pretty good in all the games, but in these H.O.R.S.E tourneys you also have a couple of specialists, especially a couple of Hold'em specialists.
Definitely.
So compared to the competition, I was always happy when the Hold'em round was gone and we started again with Omar high-low.
So did you build up a really big chip stack at the beginning of the tournament, or when did you start to get up there?
The first day was pretty much of a roller coaster.
Okay. Stressful.
Very stressful. It was very early down to 3,000 chips, so only half of my starting stack. Then I got a very good table and was able to build up to 35.
Okay.
And then I had to move again to another table. It was a terrible one.
It's always tough to move.
Yeah, I had David Benjamin directly on my left. At that table was also Jennifer Harman. And I think also Julius Ferguson was at the table.
Okay.
It was pretty tough. And David played very aggressive at that moment and tried a couple of moves. And
he plays aggressive at most moments.
I know, and once he catched pretty good against me, so my stack went down 35 to 12,000, so I only had half of the average after day one. The second day was almost perfect for me. I went up step by step and finished the day well above average, so it was pretty smooth. And the third day was again a very long-lasting roller coaster.
Absolutely, and that was a tough final table. Jennifer Harman was there, Steve Zolito, Hoyt Corkins. Which of the players at the final table most impressed you with their play?
I must say Marcel Luske impressed me pretty much because
the one I forgot.
He impressed me pretty much because I know him quite a lot also from Europe in Portland and Omaha games, also in Hold'em. And I considered him more as a specialist for these two games.
Oh, really?
And
so to see him play all these games,
and,
it was just...
I didn't have him at my table before the final table, so I thought that I might have a pretty good edge against him because I thought I'm a more specialist in H.O.R.S.E, but he played all the games perfect. He was on my left, and he was a pretty tough opponent.
Well, it seems like you played a lot of the stud hands at the final table, which makes sense now that I've talked to you. You knocked out, 2 or 3 players during stud rounds?
Right, that's right, yeah.
And is that because you were getting good cards, or you just really had the advantage there?
I think it was a mixture of both. I was also, when I busted players out, sometimes a little bit lucky. There was one huge pot in high-low where I had a big low draw, was well behind in
Who were you against?
the high. Against 2 people, Hoyt Corkins was one, the other one I don't remember right now. And I got 2 outs for scooping the entire pot. Yeah, I had a lot of outs for getting half of it, so I was pretty much in good shape, but that was, of course, a lucky hit. But stud is my best game, and also, of course, try to push there and take advantage out of my skills, and it went out pretty good.
So you took the chip lead into heads-up play. Did you maintain it all the way till you won the bracelet?
No, when we started heads up, I had around 1.6 million, my opponent only around 800,000.
Yeah.
And the first half hour of play, he hit almost everything, and my stack went down to 500,000. So it was
that must have been very disconcerting.
Yeah, 4-1 dog at that moment. I made a very good bluff at my opponent, and again in start high, where I bet all the way through the river with just king high, and he folded a pair of 7s. If he had called that, my stack had been down to 100,000. So this was a key hand. I showed him my bluff, and from that moment on, I had the feeling he got a little bit on tilt. I had the momentum, and he was a little bit steaming afterwards, because of course he saw that with his call, he almost had for sure his bracelet, and so this was kind of turning around point for me.
Well, tell me a little bit about the last hand where you ended up winning the tournament.
The last hand was not that much special. He was already short.
Because he was already really short, right? Well, tell me about the hand where you stacked him then.
He had 200,000 left. The blinds were 40,000, 80,000. We were at stud high-low. I had the bring in with 7 showing and pocket 5s. And he, at that moment, raised almost every hand and raised again with an 8 showing. So I decided to push him all in and to see whether my 5s are either good or held up, or maybe I can take at least the low pot with 2 low cards showing. He had 2 8s, made 9s up but I made jacks up at the end, so I got the high pot and scooped him, and that was it.
That works. Well, congratulations. Thank you very much for coming up to talk to me today.
It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Lizzie Harrison with Jens Voertmann for Card Player TV.